Once upon a time, there were two monks living on two different mountain peaks. One was a chubby monk, the other a skinny monk. Every day, both monks would descend the mountain to fetch water from the same stream to drink. Gradually, the chubby monk and the skinny monk became very good friends, chatting and exchanging pleasantries while fetching water. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. One day, when the skinny monk went down the mountain to fetch water, he didn't encounter the chubby monk. And the next day, the chubby monk still didn't show up. Half a month went by and he still hadn't seen the chubby monk. The skinny monk started to worry, thinking that his good friend might be ill. So he tirelessly climbed to the other mountain peak to find his good friend. Upon reaching the peak, to his surprise, he saw the chubby monk with another friend, leisurely practicing Tai Chi. Anxiously, the skinny monk asked, "Is there something wrong with your health? Why haven't you come down to fetch water for half a month?" The chubby monk was very happy to see the skinny monk. He grabbed his hand and said, "Come, let me show you something." When they arrived in the backyard, they saw a well. The chubby monk began to explain, "I spent 5 years digging this well, day by day, little by little. Finally, half a month ago, I struck water. Now, I no longer have to laboriously fetch water from the stream every day. I have time to do things I enjoy, like practicing Tai Chi." After listening to his friend's words, the skinny monk silently left. It's highly likely that these two monks won't contact each other again. After hearing this story, do you also feel a mixture of emotions in your heart? Having climbed mountains together, fetched water and recited scriptures, having spent 5 years together, in the end, they realized that what the other wanted wasn't to traverse mountains and rivers with them, but simply this well. In reality, when a relationship drifts apart, it often follows this pattern. When directions and rhythms are no longer aligned, it marks the beginning of the end of that relationship. What's even more frustrating is that these destined to drift apart relationships can't blame anyone. Was the chubby monk, who quietly dug the well for 5 years, wrong? No. In his eyes, digging the well was his own business. Perhaps telling others would invite disdain and mockery, so it's better to quietly persevere, knowing that one day there will be a breakthrough. And the skinny monk, who persisted in fetching water down the mountain, he wasn't wrong either. He genuinely regarded the chubby monk as a friend, but he never thought that their goals were different from the very beginning. People often say, every adult lives as their loneliest self. Indeed, as you grow older, things naturally disappear more and more. Don't worry too much, that's just the way life is. Let things take their course, don't take everyone too seriously. Don't deliberately try to be friends with anyone. Remember, people with similar attributes naturally attract each other. It's not something you can force. The most important thing is to always be yourself. Don't forget to love yourself for anyone else. Those who love you will naturally love the real you. A flower naturally emits fragrance. As long as you can sincerely share with others, you'll surely attract like-minded friends. Don't get tangled up with those who don't belong to you. Please feel free to type wisdom in the comment section if this message resonates with your spirit. Your participation extends the reach of this message, touching more lives and spreading the message of faith and hope. Stay with us until the end of this video. Open your heart and be ready to receive the uplifting power of this video. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications to stay updated with more content that nourishes the soul and uplifts the spirit. Once there was a man who climbed a big mountain. He felt really happy at the top, thinking he was the only one there. But then he saw a monk sitting by himself, deep in thought. The man was surprised to see the monk all alone in such a quiet place. He went up to him and asked, "Why are you here all by yourself? Aren't you scared?" The monk looked calm and said, "I live here alone and I'm not scared at all." The man was still confused. "But how can you live all by yourself on this mountain? Doesn't it feel lonely?" The monk smiled and explained, "Being alone isn't always bad. It can actually be good because it helps you learn about yourself and grow." Upon hearing the man's concerns, the monk nodded in understanding. "Living in a bustling city can indeed make solitude seem strange," he acknowledged. "But there are ways to find peace even in the quiet." He leaned in, ready to share his wisdom. "Firstly," the monk began, Being alone can actually help you become more efficient. When you're on your own, your mind becomes sharper and more focused. Unlike when you're surrounded by others, your energy isn't scattered. He continued, this focused energy means you can concentrate better on your tasks. You'll find that you can accomplish things more quickly and with greater precision. That's because your energy isn't divided among different distractions. Instead, it gathers strength, allowing you to work more efficiently. The monk added another insight. Another wonderful benefit of solitude is how it ignites our creativity and sparks new ideas. When we're alone, our minds have the freedom to wander and explore different thoughts, he continued. Think about the great minds throughout history, Einstein, Newton, and many others. Their groundbreaking discoveries were often born from moments of solitude. That's because being alone allows our minds to delve into endless possibilities and imagine things beyond the ordinary. The monk paused, letting the significance sink in. This ability to think freely and dream big is why many creative individuals, like artists and inventors, cherish their solitary moments. It's in these quiet times that innovation thrives. He then shared another valuable insight. Furthermore, solitude can also make us fast learners. When we're alone, our focus is heightened, allowing us to absorb information more efficiently. Additionally, those who spend time alone often dedicate themselves to exploration and learning, which further enhances their ability to grasp new concepts quickly. In essence, the monk concluded, whether you're a student or someone engaged in mental work, embracing solitude can be the key to unlocking your full potential and achieving your goals. Finding happiness within oneself is a profound advantage of spending time alone, he remarked. True happiness isn't dependent on external factors. It stems from a deep connection with oneself. He elaborated, when we learn to be content in our own company, we become our own best companions. This inner friendship cultivates a sense of completeness and self-assurance. Once you've discovered this inner happiness, you carry it with you wherever you go, radiating joy in every situation. The monk then touched upon the social benefits of solitude. Furthermore, those who spend time alone often develop exceptional listening skills, he explained. In a world where many are quick to speak, but slow to listen, being a patient and attentive listener is a rare and valuable trait. He continued, individuals who embrace solitude learn to listen actively, allowing others to express themselves fully without interruption. Their thoughtful responses and considered words command respect and admiration from those around them. This ability to listen attentively and speak thoughtfully fosters deeper connections and earns them the respect and admiration of society. Indeed, solitude can enhance relationships, he reflected. In the quiet of solitude, we gain clarity and insight into our own behaviors and habits, enabling us to better understand and appreciate those we care about. He continued, solitude allows us to reflect on our relationships, identify areas for improvement, and nurture deeper connections with others. By spending time alone, we cultivate empathy, patience, and understanding, which are essential for meaningful relationships. The monk then delved into the mental health benefits of solitude. Moreover, solitude and silence are nourishment for the brain, he explained. In the tranquility of solitude, our minds find peace, reducing the production of cortisol, the stress hormone, and increasing the release of dopamine and serotonin, the happiness hormones. He emphasized, as a result, our mental health improves, and we experience greater happiness and contentment. Solitude becomes a sanctuary for our minds, allowing us to recharge and rejuvenate, ready to face life's challenges with clarity and resilience. Spending time alone is invaluable for deepening your meditation practice and enhancing self-awareness, he affirmed. In today's fast-paced world, finding moments of stillness and reflection can be challenging, but it is essential for a relaxed and peaceful life. He continued, meditation requires patience, discipline, and the ability to focus the mind, all qualities that naturally develop in those accustomed to solitude. When you sit in silence with yourself, you strip away the masks and societal expectations, allowing your true self to emerge. The monk's words resonated deeply with the man, filling him with gratitude and newfound understanding. He made a silent vow to incorporate solitude into his daily routine, recognizing its transformative power. With a sense of determination, the man bowed to the monk in gratitude before departing. As he walked away, he carried with him the monk's wisdom, eager to embark on a journey of self-discovery and inner peace. To all who seek a more fulfilling life, the monk's message rings true. Embrace solitude and unlock the myriad benefits it offers. By spending time alone, we can cultivate a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us, leading to greater joy, fulfillment, and spiritual growth. There was a young man from a wealthy family. Every time he called, a large group of people would come to accompany him for drinks and meals. One day, his father asked him, "Do you think these people are your true friends?" The young man replied, "Of course." His father decided to verify this with him. He asked the young man to contact the 10 friends he considered closest in his circle and tell them about his financial troubles, asking for an urgent loan of $100,000. The young man said, "Just wait and see, someone will send me money in no time." However, the results surprised him greatly. Among those who often called each other brothers, 6 didn't reply at all. They didn't even answer voice calls. One asked if his phone had been stolen, and after getting a negative answer, there was no further communication. The remaining 3 used the tactic of pretending to be broke, saying they really had no money. The young man was especially angry because he knew these few were rich kids for whom $100,000 was nothing. Yet this insignificant sum of money revealed the true nature of their relationships. At this point, the father called an old business partner, explaining a bit of trouble and the need for $100,000. "Do you have it?" he asked. Without hesitation, the partner replied, "Give me the bank number. Is $100,000 enough? If not, I'll figure something out." The young man knew this partner too. $100,000 was most of his savings for half a year, but he didn't hesitate. The young man fell silent. When we're surrounded by people, living among them, and deeply connected in relationships, it's natural to feel happy and content. We find joy in their presence, feeling complete within ourselves. But when they're not around or when they leave us, whether temporarily or permanently, we often feel a wave of sadness, loneliness, and sometimes even despair. It's as if nobody cares about us anymore. This feeling of loneliness can be overwhelming, but if we take a closer look, we'll see that our happiness was often tied to the people around us, their actions, reactions, and behaviors. Essentially, we've handed over the key to our happiness to others. So, when they exit our lives, whether by choice or circumstance, we're left feeling empty, unhappy, and alone. It's a challenging emotion to navigate. But how do we cope with this? How do we reclaim our happiness and sense of fulfillment when we're faced with loneliness? Hard times will always reveal true friends, and not everyone that comes into your life comes to be your friend. They may have other motives that benefit them and only them, and people pretend well, and it might take you some time to figure out their plot and their motives. Even if you know that not everybody around you is your friend, sometimes it is the closest to you that is playing a part instead of being the part. There are many reasons as to why someone might come into your life besides actually trying to be a friend to you and build a lifelong friendship. You might have something they want, they might need you to get to someone else. What you do for friends, they want to take advantage of that. Whatever the reason may be, if it's not to be a friend, then it's not a good reason. So when you find yourself in a one-sided friendship, put yourself first for once and distance yourself from them. You don't have to cut them off or hate them. You can still want to see them win, but it shouldn't be with you if it's only a one-sided friendship. Distant yourself without creating a scene. The words of Buddha echo through time. He who walks, sleeps, and sits alone, mastering himself, finds solace in the embrace of nature. Some fear solitude like a looming shadow, while others thrive in its quiet embrace, far from the noise of the world. Yet, in our modern world, loneliness often lurks, breeding misery alongside mental health struggles and addiction. It's crucial to learn how to embrace solitude, not as punishment, but as a chance for personal growth. That's why I'm here to share 4 healthy ways to navigate solitude. Solitude takes many forms. Some live as reclusive hermits, while others seek moments of quiet for reflection or meditation. However, loneliness can become a dark path, leading to mental and physical suffering, even death. The term lone wolf once held a negative connotation, describing those whose isolation fueled hate and violence. But whether loneliness is chosen or not, it's how we spend that time that shapes our journey. Firstly, let's talk about being your own best host. Imagine yourself as a guest in your own home. How would you treat that guest? How would you speak to them? Just like being rude to guests can push them away, being unkind to ourselves can make us uncomfortable in our own company. French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "If you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company." And I couldn't agree more. We can practice this self-hospitality in various ways. For instance, by changing the way we talk to ourselves, we call this negative thinking, or by preparing a delicious meal with the same care and love we would for a friend. Furthermore, taking care of our environment is taking care of ourselves. A tidy house can have a positive impact on our mood, while cleaning can have a meditative effect on the mind. So, tidying up before some me time is a great way to start enjoying solitude. Let's explore the idea that we're always connected, even when we feel alone. It might sound a bit strange, I know, but think about it. Many people experience loneliness when they're physically by themselves. Maybe it's a Saturday night, and while others are out partying, you're at home. The fear of missing out can hit hard, leaving you feeling disconnected from all the fun, joy, and excitement happening elsewhere. In response, some turn to unhealthy habits like drinking, drugs, or binge-watching to numb the pain of loneliness. But here's an interesting perspective from Chinese Buddhist monk Sheng Yen. He shared an experience from a solitary retreat where he didn't feel lonely at all. He realized that even though he was alone in a small room, he was actually surrounded by countless sentient beings, ants, insects, and the sounds of nature. Loneliness, he concluded, is just a matter of perception. We can view it as something dreadful and isolating, even when we're not truly alone. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once wisely said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the principles and notions which they form concerning things." This insight sheds light on why some people feel lonely in crowds, while others find connection in solitude. In reality, everything in our world is interconnected. We're all part of one vast universe, made from the same elements. We share the same soil, breathe the same air, and drink the same water. When we truly grasp this interconnectedness, how can we ever feel truly alone? Now let's explore the idea of sitting with our emotions. Constantly surrounding ourselves with people can sometimes shield us from confronting our innermost thoughts and feelings. Some individuals who constantly seek company may be avoiding this self-confrontation, opting instead for short-term pleasures to distract themselves. However, being alone offers a unique opportunity for introspection. By delving inward, we can identify what troubles us, what changes we wish to make, and more. This introspection isn't always easy. It may involve facing uncomfortable truths or emotions, but in the long run, it's immensely beneficial. Furthermore, the practice of meditation allows us to observe our thoughts and physical sensations. This heightened awareness enables us to recognize and accept our anxieties, anger, or tension, allowing them to gradually dissolve. Though this process may initially cause discomfort, it's a far healthier approach than resorting to drugs or alcohol to numb our emotions. Instead, it leads to a calmer, more balanced state of being. While being around others can be enjoyable, it often leads us to follow the herd, watching the same TV shows, discussing the same topics, and adopting similar opinions. This herd mentality can hinder our ability to pursue our own goals and dreams. Stepping away from the crowd allows us to gain new perspectives through introspection. It gives us the freedom to pursue our passions, regardless of what others may think. Achieving our dreams requires sacrifice. It means giving up parties, nights at the bar, or dinners with friends to focus on building something meaningful for ourselves. Solitude can be our ally in this pursuit. When we create in solitude, we fully embrace our time alone. We're less likely to develop unhealthy habits because our focus is on our goals, not distractions. For example, when I'm writing a script or editing a video for this channel, I experience a profound sense of joy. It's a state where everything feels complete and I'm fully present in the moment. This deep fulfillment makes it difficult to feel lonely. Embrace solitude as a pathway to pursuing your dreams. It's in these moments of focused creation that we find true fulfillment and joy. The French philosopher Blaise Pascal once said that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Our rooms should be sacred spaces, a peaceful refuge from the chaos of the outside world. Psychotherapist Alfred Adler suggested that all problems are essentially interpersonal relationship problems. When we're alone, these issues diminish, unless we reach for our phones and delve into social media. Suddenly, we're inundated with new problems, unanswered messages, comparisons with others, and over-analyzing text messages. Our phones become sources of suffering, amplifying interpersonal issues. But if we put the phone away, we realize we have no real problems. We're just sitting quietly in a room alone. Being alone without distractions is beneficial for our character. With fewer stimuli, our minds may try to convince us that we're too busy to sit quietly. But in reality, this time spent alone can be incredibly valuable for our mental well-being and personal growth. Sitting alone often brings out the dysfunction of the mind. Instead of finding peace, your mind might make you feel guilty, restless, and uneasy. It's as if you have an annoying roommate who won't stop making you feel worthless. During moments of solitude, your mind tends to spiral into negativity. It constantly seeks out problems and becomes agitated when it's not stimulated. This realization can be profound. You begin to understand that your mind is not your friend. It thrives on worry, stress, and dwelling on the past. But amidst this mental chaos, there's another part of you, the consciousness itself. This is the essence of your being, beyond the ego and its identification with the material world. When you sit alone, you have the opportunity to tap into this state of pure being, shedding the human part of you that is tied to worldly concerns. In a world dominated by the collective consciousness of humanity, which is largely driven by the mind's constant seeking, sitting alone allows you to transcend this default mode and connect with a deeper aspect of yourself. As Eckhart Tolle eloquently explains, nothing external will ever bring lasting satisfaction. It may provide temporary relief, but it's superficial. You might need to go through many disappointments before realizing this truth. By stepping back from the collective pattern of seeking and worrying about the future, you invite peace into your life. You don't have to strive to reach some distant destination because you're already here. This present moment is all there is. Of course, you'll still engage in activities and make plans for the future, but you can do so from a place of presence, fully grounded in the now. When the incessant storm of thinking subsides, sitting quietly in a room offers a glimpse of being, a taste of inner peace. With regular practice, you'll remember that this peaceful refuge resides within you at all times. It's not about being alone in a room. The serenity of a quiet mind is accessible to you in any moment, wherever you are. When you find yourself stuck in traffic, waiting for the bus, or simply walking to school or work, seize those moments to rest in being. Feel the aliveness pulsating within your inner body and tune in to the silence that underlies even the most cacophonous noises. This connection to being is your lifeline in a chaotic world. Whether you're sitting, standing, or lying down, this simple truth remains. You are here, right now, wherever you may be. The mind often seeks to complicate matters, but this realization can ground you in the pure simplicity of the present moment. In a room sitting alone, the peacefulness and joy of your being can truly blossom. Here, there are no problems, only the tranquility of your existence. It's important to recognize that the mind often creates problems where none exist. Have you ever noticed how one problem seems to vanish only for another to take its place? Sitting alone serves as vital training for navigating interpersonal relationships. If you can't find stillness and calmness in solitude, how can you maintain composure during conflicts with others? In arguments, egos clash and reactions abound, each person clinging to their own mental position, convinced of their righteousness. But a fully conscious person doesn't identify with the ego. As Eckhart Tolle explains, you can't engage in argument with someone who is truly conscious. They transcend the need to defend their mental position, as they are rooted in the peace of their being. Maintaining a stable inner space and a calm mind is crucial for our well-being, as Seneca wisely observed. Just as fertile fields must be given time to rest to maintain their productivity, so too must our minds be allowed to relax. Constant work and stimulation can lead to mental fatigue and dullness, weakening the rational soul. However, the relaxation Seneca speaks of isn't merely indulging in passive activities like watching TV or listening to music. These can often serve as distractions, blocking our awareness of the present moment. Instead, true relaxation involves consciously engaging in activities with full attention, such as taking a bath mindfully or resting in being. Marcus Aurelius concurred, advising that seeking tranquility involves doing less. Relying on external stimuli for relaxation can be counterproductive if it distracts us from our inner peace. It's essential to find moments of stillness and simplicity amidst the busyness of life, allowing our minds to recharge and rejuvenate, and therefore, sitting quietly in a room becomes the ultimate form of relaxation. It teaches us to unwind without relying on external stimulation, which is a powerful skill. This kind of relaxation involves accepting the present moment in all its forms, as Eckhart Tolle elucidates. While acceptance may seem passive, it actually ushers in a new energy, peace, which is a subtle vibration of consciousness. In this light, Pascal's words ring true. Many of humanity's troubles stem from our inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Reflecting on these words can profoundly impact our lives. So, the next time you find yourself in your room, take a moment to sit quietly. Listen to the sounds outside, but focus on the underlying silence from which they emerge. These pauses of silence enhance our inner stillness. As Tolle suggests, the internal noise of our thoughts is equivalent to external noise, while inner silence mirrors external quietness. When we look around our room without attaching labels or judgments, everything appears fresh and new. We realize that all the objects exist within the space of our room. Without this space, there would be no room at all. In reality, your room consists mostly of empty space, much like the profound silence that surrounds us. As Eckhart Tolle eloquently describes, this vast silence embraces all of nature, including yourself. As you tune into the external world, remember to also pay attention to your inner body. Are there any discomforting emotions or physical sensations? Embrace them gently, acknowledging them as part of your present experience. Feel the subtler sensations in your hands and feet, perhaps a gentle tingling. Where is the problem in this moment? Can you simply rest in this state without getting caught up in the chatter of your mind? Become the observer of your thoughts as they come and go, much like the passing sounds you hear. Treat them as you would external sounds, just part of the rich tapestry of your experience. Just as you don't identify yourself with the sound of a passing car, recognize that your thoughts do not define you either. The more you practice this quiet time alone, the more adept you'll become at resting in present moment awareness. So, when this video concludes, before you rush into your next activity, take a moment to simply be. Notice how it feels. It only takes a moment, but it can make a world of difference. Many people will walk in and out of your life, but only true friends will leave footprints in your heart. You must know how hard it is to find a true friend. They don't lay down on the street for you to pick them up easily. An honest friendship is built on trust and mutual respect. That's why not everyone is your friend. Not everybody is loyal, and they have their own reasoning not to be your friend. To find your friends for life, you first need to know how to distinguish from the bad ones. Not everyone is your friend means that not everybody respects and cares about you. They don't take in consideration your problems, opinions, and don't try to find compromises that would benefit you. A true friend will always stand by your side and support you. He will never abandon or betray you. Some people have negative mind. People that possess negative thinking focus on the worst possible outcomes in situations in life. Instead of focusing on positive outcomes, they constantly worry about the worst scenarios and start overthinking. Their mind rejects thinking positively. If you have friends like that, who contact you during their worst times when they need emotional support, they are not your friends. These people are energy and mood vampires that seek to recharge themselves by shifting all the negativities off their shoulders onto you. It's completely okay to drown in negative thoughts from time to time. It happens for almost everyone, especially when you face stressful situations for the first time. However, such behavior shouldn't repeat itself too often. It should be a very rare occasion. If it happens that your friend contacts you frequently for emotional support, he needs to fix this problem ASAP. You can always contact your true friends if you need to get something off your mind. They will always pat on your back and give some good advice. Often those that criticize others reveal what he himself lacks. As a contrast, not everyone is your friend if they don't have time or show no interest in your feelings and well-being. If they feel no empathy for you and boast about themselves how they would handle the situation better, that's not a healthy friendship at all. They don't understand you and never will. People are hypocrites. It's common that people in front of you act friendly, but behind your back they stab you without mercy. That signals only one thing, which is double-faced people. They are not trustworthy and will bring you down just to look better themselves. It's no wonder that trust issues lie among humanity. That's how it all started. Not everyone is your friend, and certainly hypocrites are not one of those who you should keep in your close social circle. They will try to embarrass you and underline your weak lines. However, what they don't think is how you feel about it. They don't even bother asking. They don't care about you, and you shouldn't care about them either. Sweet words don't mean trust. Have you ever encountered someone that sugarcoats everything? They certainly have mastered the art of uplifting other people's ego. They know how to approach you and make you feel appreciated and worthy. They make a lot of promises and they look fantastic in front of your eyes at that very moment. It's completely fine to do that, as long as they are keeping their word and do everything they say. However, it often happens that they don't keep the promise and forget everything. Not everyone is your friend, especially the extreme versions of self-centered people. They try to take all of the attention to themselves. They are not interested in you. In addition, they hide their vulnerabilities and will never fully open up to you. The worst thing about all of this is that they see themselves as the best and no one can compare to them. That's definitely not a type of friend that you would want to have. People change after obtaining power. It turns out that people who are feeling powerless have more empathy towards other people. On the flip side, when people feel powerful, they have less empathy. People with power lose the ability to understand what it's like to feel powerless. They detach themselves from reality due to their ego. Their scope and view of the world changes dramatically. Leave a like for this video and share it at least one time to help us reach more people. Spread the gospel and change more lives by comment using the word wisdom. To further support the dissemination of this message, consider sharing this video with a friend or family member. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications to stay updated with more content that nourishes the soul and uplifts the spirit. See you at next video.